I declare the congregation open. Madam Mayor, members of the university, guests, and especially all of you graduating here today, it's an enormous pleasure to be able to welcome you to Lancaster University on what is a very special day indeed. We're here to celebrate the achievements of our students from the Faculty of Arts and Social Science. It's really wonderful to see all of you here today. I know it's a bit chilly in here, but we'll try to warm it up during the course of the celebrations. I'd also like to extend a very warm welcome to our honorary graduate, Dr. Robert Rimmer, and to our Chancellor's medal winner, Ka Yu Young, about whom we will hear more later. I'm particularly delighted to see so many family and friends of our students here today. I know you will be feeling justifiably proud of what your friend or your relative has achieved. Degree ceremonies are formal occasions, but they're also events to be enjoyed. So I really encourage you, when your friend or your relative comes on stage, you can do what you like. You can clap, you can sing, you can dance, you can whoop, you can leap in the air, but at least applaud them enthusiastically when they come on stage. This is it's a celebratory day, and I dare say for some of you that might well extend into the night. I can say that from experience. I graduated here in 1979. So there you are. You can graduate one day and you can be Chancellor the next. It was a very different world, and it was actually a very different university as well back then. So for a start, it was about half the size. So today, you're in a much bigger university, and frankly, you're in a much better one than it was then. And in fact, I probably struggle to get in nowadays. Lancaster is in the top 15 out of over 130 universities in our country, and our ambition is to be in the top 100 worldwide. For me, the wonderful thing about Lancaster is that even as we are growing, the one thing that remains constant is that we remain true to our founding principles, that this should be a university that is open to all with talent and potential. At Lancaster, excellence hasn't been bought at the expense of equity. We provide opportunities for students, regardless of their background, to realise their aspirations in life. And at a time when there's often such a sense of overwhelming pessimism about the prospect of greater social mobility in our country, ours is actually a story of optimism. What counts is not where you came from in the past, but whether you are prepared to put in the effort to create a better future for yourselves and hopefully for others. Today, we celebrate the fact that you seized that opportunity. Postgraduate graduation ceremonies like today's are an opportunity to recognise the significant commitment that each of you have made to your chosen field of study. Frankly, the collective brain power in front of us is somewhere between awe-inspiring and terrifying as I stand here. But what is perhaps even more impressive is the individual effort and endeavour that sits behind your success. Some of you have studied intensively, I know, for years to achieve your degree. Others have combined their studies with work or with family and caring responsibilities. So, of course, what you have learned here, you will carry throughout your lives. If you've studied engineering, you may well go on to have a career in industry. If you've studied sociology, you may well have a career in the civil service. If you've studied politics, then frankly, heaven help you. I don't really mean that, but you know what I mean. But I think you will There are a lot of politics graduates here today, so well done, because we need good people in politics. But I think what you'll find is what you've acquired here is more than knowledge about a particular subject. For myself, as a graduate from this university, Lancaster will always be the place that gave me the strongest possible foundations for my life and my career. It helped me on my way from being a kid growing up on a council estate in the northeast of England to having the privilege of serving in the UK's cabinet. It gave me skills way beyond my studies. How to learn, how to analyse, how to question, how to argue. It taught me too the relationship between effort and reward. If it's easy, it isn't really worth doing. It's the hard things in life that make you. And as you all now know, there are no easy postgraduate degrees here at Lancaster. Everyone has to be earned through commitment, dedication, and sheer hard work. So today, we're not just celebrating your intelligence, we're celebrating the fact that you have the resilience to rise to a challenge and to beat it. That is just as well, because the world is certainly not short of challenges. This is a period of profound global uncertainty, even volatility. It has been christened by some the era of permacrisis, and it sometimes does feel that the world is lurching from one crisis to the next. But it's more than that. A guy asked me recently, he said, "Do you know what today is, Alan?" And I thought, well, it's 3 months since we've had a new Prime Minister, and we're probably due another one, but is it that? And he said, no, it's not that. He said, today is the slowest day of the rest of your life. What did he mean by that? What he meant was, what we're witnessing is not just the extraordinary scale of technological, social, political, economic, environmental change in our world, but it's the unprecedented pace at which it is happening. The future is coming ever faster towards us. Navigating it successfully to create a better, and I hope a fairer world, requires great leadership. Now, no doubt there will be different views about whether the world is blessed with that today. But I hope what we can all agree on is that the people we celebrate in this hall today are our biggest source of hope for the future. And I say that because from you will emerge the next generation of leaders. What we seek to do here at Lancaster is to equip our postgraduate students with the right attributes to make a difference in the world, to be agile in their thinking, purposeful in their focus, and outward-looking in their demeanour. And that is why Lancaster is and will remain a university that is open to the world. We believe in building bridges, not walls. We have a campus in China, another in Ghana, one in Malaysia, and our latest in Leipzig in Germany. We're unashamedly a global university, and we're particularly proud of the fact that we welcome here on campus students from over 180 countries across the globe. And our staff come from all parts of Europe and well beyond. The rich diversity they provide not only brings huge benefits educationally, it prepares our students for life in what is increasingly a global society. So today, you join a very special community. Like 150,000 others, you're about to become alumni of this great university. Ours is a community that expresses the very best of today's world. High achievers, great thinkers, top leaders, people who are making a difference in industry and in charity, in private companies and the public services. You all come from very different backgrounds and no doubt will end up living and working in very different locations. But in the end, I hope you believe that you are part of a community, all bound together by one common history. So when you leave here, you will take something of Lancaster with you. Memories, of course. The friends you've made, the tutors you've met, the knowledge that you have gained, what you have learned from your studies. But above all, I hope what you take away from Lancaster is what you've learned about yourselves. That if you persevere, it pays off. that if you follow your dreams, you can rise to a higher level, that if you listen to your hearts, you can achieve great things. Of course, there are never any guarantees in life, but the one thing I can promise you is the degree you have earned from this university is a passport, should you choose to use it, to a lifetime of opportunity. Each of you has proved that you have what it takes to make a success of life. So my advice to you is very simple. Be bold, be brave, believe in yourselves, but above all else, use the knowledge you have gained to make a difference, not just for yourselves, but for others. The best that any of us can ever try to do is to leave the world a better place than we found it. That is the gift that leadership bestows. I hope you use it. On behalf of this great university, I wish you all the very best for whatever path you choose in life. Enjoy it. You have well and truly earned it. Thank you.
Please may all the graduands from the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences stand. Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate, I present these members of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences who are worthy to receive higher degrees of the university. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis on ecological civilization, identity, power and status, Emma Williams. For a thesis on faith agency, the strategies, meaning making and experiences of FBOs in modern Britain, Emily Lynn. For the degree of Master of Arts, Abi Asayas Alameayu. Charlie Austin. Sophie Gwyneth Baker. Megan Lowry Barrett. Timothy Bryce. Imogen Rose Carr. Alexandra Chipaka. Piyush Plaiban Das. Sonia Denbo. Olivia Dowling. Joseph Patrick Oren Entwistle. Mark Connor Greenway. Christine Greenwood. Charles John Hallam. Catherine Herring. Aisha Audrey Minnie Udin Hilton. Hung Kai Huang. Benas Kozlauskas. Erin Zara Curley. Riyad Lamari. Celestine Kazoa Macero. Erin Neve McNally. David Ayrton Meadows. Chelsea Louise Mitchell. Max Moser. Miguel Nobrega. Joshua David North. Jake Parry. Elliot Luke Partridge. Niall Pitchford. Joseph Postle. Lucas Scheiban. Joshua Philip Smith. Carla Pia Silva Arellano. Daniel Joseph Sims. Caleb Stevens. Tom Timothy Sutton. Claire Summers. James Sidney Taylor. George Trix. Rehmat Ullah. Amelia Nadine Mary Whitehill. Thomas Woodard. Gulnara Yezhnebekova. And for the degree of Master of Science, Mercedes Elizabeth Nash. For the degree of Master of Laws, Alexander Chetkov. Ocean Sanderson Evans. Chanel Crystal S.J. Huskinson Tate. Alexander Samuel Hutchinson. Arabella Caldwin. Please may all the graduates from the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences stand.
By my authority as Chancellor, I confer upon these members of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences the degrees for which they have been presented. Many, many congratulations to you all. Well done.
Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate, I present unto you Dr. Robert A. Rimmer for conferral of the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa. Robert Rimmer is an internationally renowned scientist in the field of particle accelerators, specialising in radio frequency accelerating structures and systems. Robert is a previous director of Jefferson Labs Institute for Superconducting Radio Frequency and Technology, and is currently head of SRF, as it's known, Research and Development at JLab. Under Robert's leadership, Jefferson Lab has produced and designed and engineered the SRF LINAC and associated cryogenic systems at the heart of both Jefferson Lab's infrared demo-free electron laser, and was instrumental in the development of the spallation neutron source in Tennessee. He has worked on projects in Europe, Asia, America, and is a recognised expert in RF systems and beam stability. Particle accelerators, devices that increase the energy of particles that make up all the matter in the universe, has been at the forefront of many scientific discoveries and are some of the most complex projects built by mankind. One of the leading lights in the development is Robert Rimmer, or Bob is to those that know him, who we honour here today. Bob's research has led to major advances in science reach of many of these machines, from the major particle colliders to the X-ray and neutron sources that are used for material, biological, chemical analysis. Bob's renown within the field of particle accelerators has led to multiple roles in advisory bodies for many of the world's particle accelerators. Bob was born in Potters Bar, Hertfordshire in 1963, but moved at an early age to Kent, where he spent his formative years. Growing up in the 1970s, with industrial unrest and recession and closure of the Chatham Dockyard, he learned the importance of a good education. He developed a curiosity about the physical world from an early age, and would take great delight in taking things apart to see how they worked, and very occasionally even putting them back together. Approaching the end of secondary school, not really sure of what interest to pursue, he applied to do electronics at Birmingham University, which met the requirement of being a big city and suitably far away from home. However, at the last minute, he heard about a new course in physical electronic engineering at Lancaster, developed by our own Professor Richard Carter, with sponsorship from UK industry in the form of EEV. The very broad-based curriculum appealed strongly, as did the industrial connections in proximity to the Lake District, that had some of the best motorcycle roads in the country. Thanks to the link with EEV, he was able to do a summer internship and year-long placement in various divisions of the company. This offered tremendous variety and worked on things such as night vision goggles, custom LCD displays, and most of all, high-power klystron division. These large vacuum tubes, which are capable of producing megawatts of power for radar, broadcast, or scientific and industrial applications, really captures imagination, and trying to understand how they worked opened the door to a new world of vacuum electronics and material science, and these became the focus for the remainder of his undergraduate studies. Another lucky break came in 1985 as graduation loomed, when an opportunity arose to pursue a PhD at nearby Daresbury Laboratory, with Professor Carter again as his academic advisor. The Daresbury Synchrotron Light Source, the SLS as it's known, was a large particle accelerator for the production of intense X-rays, and it was having quite significant problems with its microwave windows, which separate the vacuum from the air. They were failing. And Bob's experience at Lancaster and EEV made him the perfect candidate. With guidance from Richard, Bob jumped in and began assessing the problem. Due to the complicated arrangement, it was hard to make direct measurements everywhere that was needed, so a new 3D numerical model was developed, and this was the first of its kind in the UK, which took weeks to run at a time on the Daresbury mainframe computer. The electromagnetic fields from the model were imported into the mechanical solver to calculate the temperatures and stresses in the components, in the first instance of what's known now as multi-physics modelling. Comparisons of measurements validated the model and prevented future failures. The windows operated reliably for the rest of the life of the machine. When visiting the United States for the first time, he learned of a new state-of-the-art synchrotron light source being planned in Berkeley in California. And the time was perfect, and upon graduation, he was offered a 2-year position at Berkeley, and he's never really come back. The new advanced light source was similar to the Daresbury machine, but needed much higher performance. Beam stability in the new machine was a big concern, and to ensure the interaction between the beam and each component, which is known as the impedance, it needed to be controlled, and Bob became what was known as the impedance police, simulating and measuring every component, and in the end, the machine turned on and worked like a charm, with rock-steady beam and unprecedented brightness. The 2-year term ended up lasting 13 years, seeing the end of the light source and many other projects. In the early 90s, as the light source was nearing completion, another even more ambitious project was being planned just down the road at the Stanford Linear Accelerator Centre. The plan was to build an enormous machine that would collide together electrons and its antimatter counterpart, the proton. Huge currents of electrons and positrons, more than 10 times any existing machine, would be stored in 2 rings and collided at great intensity to provide particle fragments for a large and complex experimental detector. No ordinary RF systems would do the job, and Bob was enlisted to develop the new high-current accelerating cavities that would provide enormous power needed by the beams and keep them stable. Then in 2002, Bob's career took another sharp turn when he was recruited by his former boss, Shipon Chattopadhyay, to join the superconducting RF group at Jefferson Lab as Deputy Director for the SRF department and Chief RF Scientist. Superconducting cavities have to operate at temperatures hundreds of degrees below freezing. Thus, in one step, he went from warm to cold technology and from West Coast to East Coast, both of which were culture shocks in their own ways. The CBAF accelerator at Jefferson Lab was the world's first large-scale machine operating with superconducting RF cavities at 2 degrees Kelvin, which is minus 271 degrees Celsius. And it had the world's only capable SRF production facility and the largest single cryogenic plant in the world. However, after the construction was complete, the focus turned towards operations of the SRF development at JLab, which stagnated while R&D continued at Cornell in the USA, DAISY in Germany and KEK in France. But fortunately, just as Bob arrived, a new project to build the LINAC for the spallation neutron source at Oak Ridge in Tennessee, which was the world's most powerful proton LINAC, brought new vital infrastructure. A new project to build the world's most powerful free electron laser also brought back excitement to Jefferson Lab. These machines produce neutrons and X-rays respectively, which are used to probe the internal structure of materials, pharmaceuticals, viruses and proteins. The laser was based on a high current energy recovery LINAC, which recovers the energy from the beam for reuse, making the accelerators more sustainable. Bob designed the first superconducting cavity purpose-built for this application, using many lessons learned from his normal conducting experience. By 2006, Bob had risen to become the head of Superconducting RF Institute at Jefferson Lab, just as the major upgrade of what was known as the CBAF accelerator was approved. CBAF is an internationally leading nuclear physics facility to study the structure of the nucleus. He oversaw the production of 10 new superconducting modules with 8 cavities each to double the energy of the machine. These were the highest performing cryo modules of their type ever and were completed successfully without any struggles. Stray emission of electrons from the metal surfaces at high field was a constant problem, but Bob's team developed new cleaning methods and persuaded the project to adopt newly developed polishing techniques for the final preparation step, and the goals were achieved. The methods developed for this project are now used as standard on every superconducting machine and has led to significant improvement in the operation of many particle accelerators. Superconducting RF technology, like those developed at JLab, was improving rapidly, and a committee was formed to determine the best technology to go forward with for an international electron-positron collider on a scale larger than any accelerator that had ever been built. Bob's team at JLab joined the global effort and helped establish the reliable fields needed for a superconducting linear accelerator, leading to the selection for the International Linear Collider project. A spin-off of this work, using the same technology, was adopted for 2 new light sources, one in Germany and one in Slacken, California. Currently, Robert is leading the effort to design new superconducting cavities for another machine, the Electron-Ion Collider, at Brookhaven in New York. This machine will collide electrons with ions, an atom without electrons, to understand the structure of the nucleus better and help answer questions about the universe. Jefferson Lab will provide all the superconducting cavities of this project. Bob has never lost his connection to Lancaster, his interest in vacuum electronics, and is presently working in collaboration with the engineering department here at Lancaster to demonstrate operation of SRF accelerator driven by high efficiency industrial magnetrons, similar to the ones we have in all our microwave ovens. Such a compact accelerator could be a building block for a new range of applications of SRF research, medicine, industry and environmental remediation. We are therefore, Chancellor, presenting to you an exceptional person, as well as an outstanding engineering scientist. It is thus especially a privilege to present to you, on behalf of the Senate, Robert A. Rimmer for the conferral of the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
By my authority as Chancellor, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa. Many congratulations. It's good to see you both.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, fellow members of the University, honoured guests, Graham, I'd like to thank you all for this unexpected honour. I have great memories of my time here at Lancaster, and as it turned out, as Graham described, I couldn't have asked for a better preparation for the career that followed. I've heard it said that the average student typically only uses a few % of what they actually learn in their degree in subsequent life. But the challenge is you can't predict which few % are going to be useful. So you really have to pay attention to all of it. The field of particle accelerators, as Graham described, is a highly multidisciplinary one. And I can definitely say I bucked that trend and I used a lot of what I learned here in my subsequent career. But I still wish I had paid more attention. With hindsight, I realize now that one of the greatest luxuries in life is to be free to learn just for the sake of learning. And that the purpose of universities is not just to impart knowledge, but to teach the art of learning itself. I've been very lucky in my career, and I've had some great opportunities. I can't say I really had a definite plan, but I always tried to be open to opportunities when they arose. Indeed, coming to Lancaster, as Graham described, was a last-minute change by itself, and changed my life. And so was the chance to go to Berkeley Lab in California. There, it was just like a continuation of higher education, but with a paycheck. And it's also not everywhere in the world that you can sit at the lunch table in the cafeteria and find a Nobel laureate at both ends of the table. Mainly, though, I've been fortunate to have some really great mentors in my career, starting here with Professor Carter, who got me inspired into accelerators, my supervisors at Daresbury, Brian Taylor and Mike Dykes, in Berkeley, Glenn Lambertson and Mike Zisman, who are well known in our field. And then scientist Matt Allen and engineer Heinz Schwartz at the Stanford Linear Accelerator Center, from whom I learned so much. Later, Shapon Chatwarieh, who some of you know as the former director of the Cockcroft Institute, he was my supervisor, and he was the one who attracted me to Jefferson Lab and the East Coast. And many others too numerous to mention, but we only have limited time here. So I've worked on a lot of interesting projects over the years, and technically, but it's always the people that I've worked with who've had the most impact on me. Of course, I couldn't have done any of this without the support of my family, some of whom are watching on the live stream, so hi, Mom. And I'm hoping that this experience here will be some motivation for my daughter, who's up in the gallery, to pursue an academic career. So thank you all again for this surprise recognition. I will do my very best to live up to it, and thank you all.
Please may all the graduands from the Faculty of Science and Technology stand. Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate, I present these members of the Faculty of Science and Technology who are worthy to receive higher degrees of the university. Please note that for PhD graduates, I will read out both their name and also the title of their thesis. As tempting as it may be, please could we hold off the applause until I've completed reading the title. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Nora Al-Waibi, Theory of Quantum Transport in Nanomolecular Scale Systems. Sapphire McNeill Armstrong, Investigating Covalency in Uranal Complexes via Exploration of Electronic Excited States. Joseph Carmignani, Explainable Artificial Intelligence applied to NA62 experiment at CERN. Jonathan Emrys Carrick, Classification of Supernovae and Stars in the Era of Big Data and Artificial Intelligence. Matthew Chi-Ho Chan, Galaxy Cluster Detection and Characterization in the Big Data Era. Rachel Wai Chung, Characterizing Language Learning in Typical and Atypical Child Development. Louise Cowie, Normal Conducting RF Development for the Clara Accelerator. Saruta Diprasert, Fabrication of paper-based multi-walled carbon nanotube electrode sensors using inkjet printer. Tristan Doyle, Development of new off-axis near-detector samples for the T2K oscillation analysis. Hossein Eskandari Sabsi, Alloy and Microstructure Design for Additive Manufacturing. Rebecca Iverson, Attentional Processes Involved in Set Shifting Skills and Restricted and Repetitive Behaviours. James Lane, Dusk-Dawn Convection Asymmetries in the Earth's Magnetotail. Joshua Lee, Designing a Modular Approach for Rhenium Functionalized Surfaces for SIRS-based sensing. Christopher Lorch, Mechanisms for Auroral Particle Acceleration within Jupiter's magnetosphere. Barbara Townsend, utilising a novel nickel and zinc catalytic system in small molecule synthesis. Carlos Alejandro Meza Ramirez, predicting microorganisms with vibrational spectroscopy and machine learning. Alejandro More Abelanda, chemical stabilization of anaerobic digestate via wood ash-based treatment. Chris Niamayaro, underwater laser cutting. Niall Quain, optimized self-calibrating microfluidic systems towards design optimization. Nadia Rose Nissar, corrosion behaviour of AGR sim fuels. Megan Rose Reedman, an investigation of perceptual motor processes in people with idiopathic Parkinson's disease. Rens van Hoof, the role of sensory motor and linguistic distributional information in categorization. Joseph Walsh, constraining neutrino oscillation measurements using data from the T2K near detector ND280. For the degree of Master of Science by Research, Samuel Patrick Crowther. Ethan Evans. Srinivasan Kiritharan. Neve Owen. Megan Jane Pritchard. Christian Putra Chen. For the degree of Master of Science, Khushbu Anup Agarwal. Adele Armistead. Amy Laura Austin. Eleanor Catherine Ball. Hamish Bromley. Kieran Burke. Andrew Cartwright. Florine Alexia Koza. Wenhor Chang. Adam Collett. Alexander Paul Corcoran. Chloe Chu-Yuan Crawshaw. Ellen Dimmock. Emily Rose Dreyer. Sri Sadhguru Saraya Danala. Paige Alex Durnall. Carl Enston. Benjamin Fitzpatrick. Amy Fletcher. Christian Fout. Annalisa Sophia Fountain. Riva Maria George. Paige Jessica Given. Jamie Halligan. Bing Han. Jack Hardacre. Cameron Kaliva Anthony Hoppu. Bethany Megan Hopwood. Rebecca Ashley James. Constance Grace Jordan Turner. Anastasia Umatava. Wen Fan. Jiawan Liu. Archana Maharashan. Laura Meek. Daniel Mistry. Wang Sheng Kyung. Rebecca Sian Mitchell. Stephanos Mosfiliotis. Catherine Melissa Oates. Kira Margaret Parkinson-Jones. Ian Saturn. Mohammed Sultani. Siri Sudhakar. Faye Georgia Summers. Maria Gabriela Vivero Donoso. Rajesh Prakasharo. Kayu Wong. Jershuan Wu. Please, may all the graduates from the Faculty of Science and Technology stand.
By my authority as Chancellor, I confer upon these members of the Faculty of Science and Technology the degrees for which they have been presented. Many, many congratulations to you all. Well done.
Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate, I present the following student who is eligible to receive the Chancellor's Medal for exceptional merit in their programme of study. Kayu Wong. I now declare closed this congregation of the University of Lancaster. Long may the university prosper.